Hey kids, welcome to the 2021 look at the Create Task rubric. The one thing I want to make sure you all understand is that the written document for the Create Task, it is probably more important than your program. Yes, you heard that right. All the AP Reader sees is the video you submit, a PDF of the code, and the written response. That AP Reader has to average about 15 submissions an hour, and that's on the low end. If you do the math on that, you can see they don't get much time to look through your submission. More importantly, as we go through this rubric, you're going to see that it clearly states that the reader can't assume that you meant to either put something from the PDF code into your submission or assume that's what your code meant. The majority of all the grading is going to come from your written response. A common trap I see students falling into is writing this beautifully long code to this amazing app that 90% of it the AP Reader will never see. Time comes to submit everything, and they disregard their written response completely. Grading time comes around in July, and they end up with a 2 on their Create task, which, if you forgot, is 30% of your overall AP grade. Moral of this story, do not ignore the Create Task written response. Remember, the Create Task is about creating a program that does very specific things that the AP College Board is asking for. In the last video, you might remember these takeaways. And as we cover the rubric, think back to this. These takeaways come straight from what AP is asking. And really, the only things that the AP College Board is asking for. Today's video is really going to take an in-depth look at the rubric. And I really want you to understand the relationship between the 3 documents we're going to talk about today, which is the rubric, the written response that I just talked about, and the survival guide. If you really understand all of these, then kids, you are going to do great on the exam. Let's look at these documents real quick. Here is the rubric. I want you to know it's divided into rows. Each row has a point. Overall, 6 points for the task. The rubric is directly related to 2 things. One, the video you're going to submit, and we'll talk about that in 1 second. The second is the written response. Look at what this scoring criteria is saying. The written response should describe the overall purpose of the program, describe what functionality of the program is demonstrated in the video, describe the input and output of the program demonstrated in the video. If you look right here in your written response, you have those 3 questions right here. You can see that the rubric and the written response template are pretty much the same thing. The survival guide breaks it down even better. And you can see here's the same 3 questions from the written response that we got from the rubric. The video has some very specific things you have to do for it. If you look at the survival guide, it gives you some good advice here. Your video must demonstrate your program running, including the input, at least one aspect of the functionality of your program, and an output produced by your program. And if you are thinking ahead, this is going to be one of the things we're going to write about. So you should really demonstrate what we're writing about in here. And that is either going to be a list or a function with a loop and if statement with a parameter. When you make your video, there's really only a couple things you have to keep in mind. One, it has to run continuously. It just can't be a bunch of pictures thrown together like a PowerPoint. It has to be less than 60 seconds and less than 30 megabytes. And kids, you know, a 30-second video at 30 megabytes is like 2 megapixels. So you can see that this isn't going to be a very sharp version of your program either. And the video, again, just has to demonstrate what we're doing. As long as you keep those 3 things in mind, you are going to be good. Now, one thing I want to point out as we move through this, you're really limited to your words. Each section gives you an approximation. Overall, AP says you can only use a maximum of 750 words, not including your code. Be careful. Will they copy and paste a paragraph into a Word document to get a word count? Probably not. But if it's pretty obvious you're not even close, they will flag it and you can lose points because of that. Be careful. In this response, describe the purpose of your program, what the feature is being shown, and what the input and output is of your app. Notice input and output of the program. Remember our 4 takeaways, kids? And here's where we're going to talk about specific language. Make sure you specifically use the word input and output when you're writing your response. It even helps to bold the letters sometimes. You want to make sure that they see that you're answering everything that is being asked. We are going to take row 2 and 3 together because you should really treat them as the same thing. The first part is going to be copying and pasting code segments. The second part is going to be talking about those code segments. The key to row 2 and 3 is a list. I want you to notice row 2 and 3 really talk about lists. And if we think back to our takeaways, takeaway 2 was creating a program that uses a list. So again, think back to those takeaways. Your program has to have some sort of list or array, depending on what language you're using, in your program. When you're copying and pasting it in, you're copying the variable declaration that creates the array, and you are also copying and pasting in the code segment that uses that array. Need 2 different parts. Looking at the survival guide, it's going to give you a hint to, again, make sure your code segments are the list and make sure it's the list being used. The written response has 3 parts to it. And the first part is very important. Name your list. If you do not name your list, you will lose points for this row. Doesn't matter how amazing your list is. Doesn't matter that you just copied and pasted it above. If you don't name the list name, then you will not get a point. The second part is describing what data is contained in your list and what your program does with that data. The final one is asking you how it manages the complexity of your program. And kids, here's a little hint for that one. Lists and variables are very similar. The real big difference is lists let us store large pieces of information. They also let us add and subtract from it and still keep the same location. That really helps when we're calling to things. Another thing we can do is we can look through it or traverse through it to find specific items. These 2 things help manage the complexity of a program. And when you're writing your response, please be as specific as you can. Row 4 and 5 should really be taken together. Much like row 2 and 3 from above, one part is going to be copying and pasting some code in. The second part is going to be writing about it. These 2 rows also are looking for 2 specific things. The first is a function with a parameter. The second is that function that has some sort of sequencing, selection, or iteration. All that means, kids, is that you need a for loop and some sort of conditional statement. That could be an if else, else if. If you think back to our takeaways, this is takeaway 3 right here. Make sure your program includes a function that has a parameter, a conditional, and a loop. So this is the part of the rubric where that comes from. Much like above, you have to copy and paste 2 parts of your program. The first one is going to be the function that has a parameter, a for loop in it, and a conditional, which again is an if else, or else if statement. Well, the second part is going to be writing about it. The first question is really asking, what does this function do and how does it contribute to your program? Again, you're answering the what, and this is really the functionality of your program that you're demonstrating from above. And this is what you should be showing in your video. The next part is how does it actually work? What does that function do? And this is where you want to be very specific. Again, language here, kids. If you have an if statement and it gets to that statement, and say that statement's on line 10, you're going to say, when my parameters pass to line 10 with my conditional statement, one of two things can happen. If it's true, it goes to line 20. If it's false, it goes to line 30. Be specific in how that program works. What the AP College Board is looking for is for your understanding of how an algorithm works. Again, use your vocabulary you've learned through the class. Be exact when you're writing about this and call out specific lines. The last part is row 6. And really, row 6 is an extension of 4 and 5. This one is describing two different instances of your parameter changing. That's what arguments mean, your parameters. And really in this one, this is looking for what happens at your conditional statement. Things to keep in mind here is you are just breaking this down to its 3 components. What is the call or parameter? What conditions are being tested? And what is the result? Again, if we're thinking to an if statement, and let's say we're just going above the age of 18 or not, age is the parameter being passed, the condition being tested, whether or not we're greater or less than 18. The result, well, if it was under 18, I said, you're not an adult yet. If it was above 18, it said you are an adult. That would be the result of the call. Just think of this as testing your parameters from above. That's all this is. And kids, again, use specific language. Use the variable names, use the parameter names, and use the specific lines that this happens on. And kids, that's it for the rubric. I know you're thinking, Mr. Rhodes, there's 4 takeaways, but you only talked about 3. If we come back to our first page here, this is actually taken from the AP student handout, and it talks a lot about avoiding plagiarism. You're going to cite things using comments in your code that you're going to turn in. Well, that's our takeaway number 4. Hopefully, kids, you see how the rubric and the written response and the survival guide all work together, and how it breaks it down to a nice, manageable, and easy project for you. As long as you are considering the 4 takeaways as you're developing your app, make sure your program has an interface that has an input and output. Make sure your program creates and uses a list. Make sure your program includes a function that has a parameter, a conditional, and a loop, and you're not stealing it. You are going to be great kids. Our next couple of videos are going to look at what a good example, an okay example, and what a bad example is. As always, kids, if you have any questions, please come see me. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video. See you later, kids. Bye. Bye.